Thank you for watching a new live edition of the East West Football Podcast. I'm Fidel Barraza, alongside with me, like always, Jerry Martinez, Kendall Whitley. Gentlemen, how are you?
What's going on? What's going on? Happy Tuesday to everybody. Tuesday night.
I think I saw on Sunday was 10 Sundays away from football. So this Sunday would make it 9. So we're getting closer and closer. I
Yes, we
mean,
are, and we hope everyone out there had a great 4th of July weekend, and hope everything went well. All
that's
right,
my
so on
favorite.
tonight,
That's my favorite holiday, by the way.
4th of
It's right
July.
up there. It's up there with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so tonight we're going to review the NFC North offseason moves. So we're going to start off with the Chicago Bears. We'll start off with key additions: wide receiver Byron Pringle, wide receiver Acumian St. Brown, offensive guard Lucas Patrick, defensive end Alquan Mohammed, and defensive tackle Justin Jones from the Chargers. Key losses, of course, Allen Robinson went to the Rams, Grant went to the Browns, James Daniels went to the Steelers, Byron Nichols went to the Raiders, and then, of course, Khalil Mack went to the Los Angeles Chargers. What do you guys think of the the Bears offseason moves?
Trey saying those names fast 3 times.
I couldn't even say them right slow, so.
I mean, honestly, it looks like from what we've seen, Matt Eberflus really took over, and it looked like they really focused in on building this team through the draft. I think that they're trying to do what most teams are doing, and that's take advantage of that rookie salary cap ish. Because with that you can truly build a team, and and they're really banking on like players that didn't quite play as much last season. Also like Tavon Jenkins, right, which was a highly cited out over offensive tackle. So and then of course, like what they did in the draft, they completely revamped that defense. I mean, they showed up the defensive back. They got uh, Brisker, the safety out of Penn State.
Yeah.
Man, that guy's a freak, man. That guy could jump out of. I mean, he can literally jump out of the building if he wanted to. And they picked up a corner too. What was his name? Anyways, getting back on it, Matt Eberflus was the Colts defensive coordinator. Overall, I think the with the pieces they added so far, I think that the Bears should be optimistic about it.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Jerry. I want to see the year two leap for the quarterback or whatnot, Justin Fields. I want to see. I think it's time. They're going to clear. They're clearly trying to build around him. I don't think they have enough pieces on the offense. I know they lost Allen Robinson to the Rams or whatnot. He's a free agent. The tight end there, I think they need a little more there. They got Cole Kmet or whatnot, but I think they need to put a little more weapons around Justin Fields. He's in a tough division. Minnesota's going to be pretty good. We're going to talk about them in a second. Green Bay, they got a couple losses. Detroit, don't sleep on Detroit Lions. So I do think they need to put a little more around Justin Fields so we can see we can do this year two league. But overall, I think their draft was more so in the long term, more so for the future.
What do you guys think we're going to expect from Justin Fields this upcoming season?
I think we should expect a steady uphill climb for him. I think he'd be all right. I just wish they build around a little more, put some more weapons around him.
I mean, just to kind of piggyback, I guess, off of Kendall, I think, if anything, I think that the reason why they're trying to keep away as many like wide receiver weapons from him is because they want to avoid him, going to just passing every down, or in this case, it looks like they want to establish the run and get that running game going. Get the ball out of his hands as much as possible so he can allow to probably be groomed. I think Matt Eberflus is a very a smart football guy. We'll see how smart he is this season, how he handles Justin Fields, and how he's able to bring him into his year two. But I mean, Justin Fields is a competitor. I think that he's probably one of the best competitors for the foreseeable future. I think he has a long career ahead of him, and I think that year two is only going to make it even more fun for all Bears. Right, all Bears. All you're going to hear all year round is bear down every time they win. So yeah.
But they might be talking about Justin Fields being on the ground when they say bear down. So
I don't know about that, but I'm pretty sure they're going to win a little bit more than what they've done recently, and you're going to hear a lot more bear down.
Yeah, and hopefully they have their head coaching position solidified with that hire. So All right, moving along to the Detroit Lions. This team will actually be on Hard Knocks this season coming up. Key additions: wide receiver DJ Chark, cornerback Mike Hughes, key resignings: wide receiver Josh Reynolds, outside linebacker Charles Harris, safety Tracy Walker, and key losses: outside linebacker Trey Flowers and linebacker Jalen Reeves. What do you guys think about the offseason moves for the Lions?
And we didn't even mention what they did in the draft with Aiden Hutchinson and Jameson Williams. I think Detroit is going to be a sneaky team this year. Not a playoff contender, not a playoff team, but I can see them around about 6, 7 wins. I think they're going to be all right. The schedule doesn't look too bad when I look at it on paper, whatnot. But as we know, these schedules can be kind of tricky. Everybody gets got week one, the first few weeks of the season. It takes about a month to see where everybody's at. But I think Detroit's going to be all right this year. Second year, Jared Goff. They got some weapons around them. They're faster. They got DJ Chark, Jameson Williams, and that. I mean, they got some guys there. What's the receiver from last year at a USC? The wide receiver, they got him too. So they got some, yeah, they got some speed there. Deandre Swift coming back in his second year. I can't wait to see how Detroit is this year.
Honestly, this is the team to beat in the future. I mean, they're gonna run the North, man. I mean, how long does Aaron Rodgers have? I mean, I think I can only foresee Aaron Rodgers maybe to the end of this year. I think maybe this season, probably, maybe two more seasons. But the Lions have truly allowed Brad Holmes, right?
Yep.
Their general manager to truly build this team up. And did you mention Jameson Williams?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Yes. Jameson, let me tell you this. That guy's a yak monster, and he has this insane speed. So when he comes back healthy, they're really going to be set at that at that wide receiver position, and of course they still have, like you said, right, the running back DeAndre Swift. I think they also brought another running back, but they
Jamal
also,
Williams from last year.
yeah,
It was
and
awesome.
and then they also have a pretty solid tight end, T.J. Hawkinson, and Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff he looked a little bit better than what he did in his previous couple of years. So, I mean, I like the fact that the Lions did not have to feel like they had to reach for a quarterback. Instead, they continue to build that defense, and that's going to be a scary championship defense. Because I'll tell you this: to build a successful, from the books that I've read on all this, on how to build a successful defense, you need 5 rotational defensive linemen that are all stars, and that's exactly what the Detroit Lions have. Levi Onwuzurike from last year, Liam McNeil, then you added, of course, Aiden Hutchinson, and then I'll go start it. It was I believe he was second or maybe third. What was his name this last season? Um, but yes, I think that the Lions have that opportunity because of this team building. There it is. There it is. I
Okay.
think that's probably Walt actually correcting me right now.
I think it might be Ashanti, but let's see.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
Walt. One of the guys.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this: Detroit Lions, they have constructed this team the right way. Because if you look at what the Packers are doing, and we'll get with the Packs in a little bit, but look at what the Detroit Lions have done. They have slowly put together a defense that is going to be a defense to reckon with. And I'll tell you this: I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to face this defense once they already get 2-3 years together as a cohesive unit.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, he might be out of the league in 3 or 4 years because you never know with this guy, right? I mean,
Yeah,
he's pondering retirement this last offseason. I mean, look,
absolutely.
a lot of the success, if Detroit is successful this season coming up, a lot of it's going to be because Jared Goff. So he's got weapons around him now. I feel for him to be successful, and it's time for him to play like it, right? Because look, if he has it down here this year, I don't see him being back in Detroit next year.
I think they're
And
one
that
of the
and
fastest teams in the league at the wide receiver, at one offense anyway. And I don't think T.J. Hawkinson gets the credit he deserves because he's in Detroit. He's a pretty good tight end, but Detroit they have some speed.
Josh Pascal, that's his name. Man, watch out with
Zach
him.
Pascal.
Yeah, Josh Pascal, that's the guy I was trying to think of. That defensive lineman, he could play all over the line. So, and then like you were saying, I mean, Jared Goff has a lot to prove, but Hey, if not, Detroit Lions still have 2 first-round picks next year, and they can find their quarterback. And next year, you have C.J. Stroud and you have Bryce Young. You still got I mean, there's a ton of names out there. Will Levis. I mean, my one of the most sought out high school quarterbacks that you know I liked. He played for Oklahoma last year. Now he's with South Carolina. Spencer Rattler. I mean, they're gonna have options. So if they feel that hey, we gave you enough time and this is not the team for you, get off. I'm sorry, thank you, but hey, it just helped them buy time to build this team up the right way.
All right, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. So key additions: Jerron Reed from the Kansas City Chiefs, defensive tackle. Key re-signings: wide receiver Alan Lazard, tight end Robert Tunyon, linebacker Devondre Campbell, and quarterback Rasul Douglas. Key losses, and this is where I think they really got affected, right? Wide receiver Devontae Adams, he went to the Raiders. Marquise Valdez-Scantling went to the Kansas City Chiefs. Offensive tackle Billy Turner, offensive guard Lucas Patrick, and outside linebackers Darius Smith.
Ooh, I think Green Bay. I mean, I think their backs are against the wall this year. I mean, the NFC that division is getting better. The division getting a whole lot better. I think Devontae Adams, the loss, it's going to really hurt him. I think he's going to do wonders in Las Vegas with Derek Carr, college teammates. But I think that loss is going to because it's going to hurt them. They don't have a number one wide receiver. You can make the argument: do they have a number two? They did bring in Sammy Watkins, but he's always in the doctor's office. To quote, know that sport. The quote, the great know that he's always in the doctor's office. And then they got Adam Lazard. I like him, but he's not a number one or two. They lost Scantling to the Chiefs also. So I mean they did draft Christian Watson. I do like him. I think he could be pretty good, but it's right away. I think it's going to be too much to ask for him. It just be too much to ask for him to step in, and there's some big shoes to fill. And Devontae Adams, some real big shoes to fill. I know Robert Tunyon's coming back from an injury, so I think they'll be all right there. And they still got the running backs Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. They still got him. Offensive line still solid. Defense is young, and Jair Alexander signed a big contract, so they'll be all right there. But I do think on the wide receiver, it's gonna be easier to play them this year.
I mean, okay, I'm gonna have to kind of, yeah. I mean, we may see the Packers regress, but I'll tell you this: that defense is loaded up, man.
Yeah.
Talk about every year they have literally patched together a defense that is. I mean, we're always asking ourselves, why don't they get him a wide receiver? Why don't? I mean, look at this year's draft: Quay Walker in the first round, which was a linebacker out of Georgia. Hey, Quay Walker you could do it all for any defense. And then Devontae Wyatt, that type of defensive tackle that can help you collapse the pocket can go along with all the defensive pieces they've added these last couple of years. I think that right now, I think if anything, it would take maybe the Packers at least one season after Aaron Rodgers to get it get the ship turned around after Aaron Rodgers is gone. Because I will tell you this, I mean, they get Jordan Love, and all eyes are going to be on the Packers offseason, man. People want to see if Jordan Love, how does he fare in these preseason games. And you know who it's gonna benefit the most? Jordan Love, man. And I'll tell you this: if Jordan Love looks as good as what he did when Aaron Rodgers did the holdout, I don't know, or the FMS, where he threw a 70-yard bomb for a TD to one of his wide receivers, and I think there was a rumor saying that Jordan Love said something along the lines of Rodgers who, right?
Yeah, with the F word in it. Yeah.
With the F word in it. Yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, he was like Joey Chestnut, breaking the hot dog record, yesterday, So obviously different subject, but it's kind of cool to cross culture in there. But yeah, man, I think if anything, Packers are still going to be in it. Even if Rodgers leaves, I think they're still set. That defense looks solid. They, like you said, they have a good running game, and it looks like finally the offense is coming into his own. He's becoming his own man in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think that running game and that defense is going to be huge for Green Bay this upcoming season. I mean, they're still a good team, right? But I mean, just the offensive power as far as the wide receiver position goes. Sorry, got my words tongued up. It's just it's not there anymore, right? I mean, so Devontae left. I mean, that was obviously Aaron's number one receiver for a long time. And, just thinking about the NFC divisional round game against the 49ers, one of the biggest reasons why they lost is because Aaron kept on looking for Devontae Adams. And after that first drive, I mean, the Niners locked him up and he didn't trust anybody. Of course, Robert Tonyan got hurt last year, I believe, towards ACL, the game against the Arizona Cardinals. So a lot of it is going to be, relying on this defense and also running game.
For sure. Oh, and the only reason I brought Joey Chestnut was, I don't know, did you see what he was like eating the hot dogs and a fan came up and man,
he had one already, and they were giving them the trophy or the belt or whatever it was, and this guy came up there with the Darth Vader mask, and
yeah,
I'm not sure what the sign said, but he got choked out pretty quick.
Well, he dropped him. I mean, he dropped that guy. So I mean, that's why I was trying to say Jordan Love had one of the moments where he was trying to drop a dime on Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see, man.
All right, and the last team in the division, the Minnesota Vikings. So key additions: defensive tackle Harrison Phillips from the Bills, inside linebacker Jordan Hicks from the Cardinals, and outside linebackers Deandre Swift from the Packers. Key losses: tight end Tyler Conklin to the Jets, center Mason Cole to the Steelers, and safety Xavier Woods to the Panthers.
As I said in the previous podcast, if not this year, then when for the Vikings? Green Bay's on that down. They're going down. Detroit, they're rebuilding. Chicago don't have enough weapons around Justin Fields. So I think the Vikings are the best team, clearly in the division, talent-wise anyway. Now, can they put it together? That's a big question. That's the elephant in the room. They got Justin Jefferson, still got Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. I mean, they got the piece there. I think a rebuilt defense, they're going to be fine there. I think this is the year, and a new head coach. So, I mean, we haven't talked about that new head coach now. So, we're going to see what Minnesota does this year, but I think this is their year, and I think they can take it over for the next few seasons.
I mean, the window's open for the Vikings this year. I mean, the only thing that kind of like is one of those things is they got, of course, the new coaching staff, right? So,
yeah,
sometimes that kind of change of pace does help out. And the window's open, like you said, the window's wide open for the Vikings, who arguably probably have one of the best younger wide receivers in the game, right? And Justin Jefferson.
yeah.
So we'll see, man. Overall, overall, I can't. It's kind of hard, right? Because they also got a new GM, so it's kind of hard to say, oh, he did a great job, and then this is gonna put him over the edge. So, not ready to give him that stamp of approval, but I will say this: they have that window open to them where they can actually, make that push and finally start making some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Kendall, yeah, they do have a new head coach. His name's Kevin O'Connell. He's coming from the Rams. Obviously, Mike Zimmer was there for a very long time in Minnesota.
Long time.
So I think this is going to kind of rejuvenate that team and possibly that offense as well. Not that it wasn't good last year, right? But they did have their moments. But yeah, I mean, Kendall, you're totally right. If not now, then when? I mean, we had a huge shakeup in Green Bay as far as Devontae leaving and, some key pieces, being there. Look, Minnesota was good last year. They were in a lot of close games, but they just were not able to close out those games.
They lost to Cooper Rush also.
They did on Halloween.
Yeah, so I mean,
how many more years? Sorry, Jerry. How many more years y'all see Kirk Cousins been in Minnesota?
Well, didn't he just restructure his contract?
He did, but we've seen people restructure in the past and they still get.
That's a lot of cash, man. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they also have a back. They have a quarterback in that. I don't know how this regime, this coaching regime or GM feel about, but I'll tell you this: Chris Sims absolutely loves this quarterback, and it was a quarterback they drafted last year in the second round, I believe. Was it last year?
I think it was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
No, it was last year. Not this season. No, it wasn't this offseason. It was last season. So, obviously, when I said, "Hey, a lot of Packer fans, a lot of Viking fans are going to be paying attention to the preseason as well," because I'll tell you this: if this kid starts to look sharp, you're going to start hearing his name being called. I'm talking about. I believe he is out of Texas A&M, right?
Texas A&M.
Yeah. So, Chris Sims. I think that was was his number one quarterback. I think he had made some noise for that too. So we'll see. And yeah, I think
Kellen
that
Mond is the quarterback you're referring to, right?
yes. Uh, but yeah, man. But this is finally I think this is the last season that all Vikings, including fans, and I think the front office will finally say, you know what, Kurt, thank you for your service, and they'll probably start looking if they're not sold on Kellen Mond, then they're gonna have to look into maybe the future as far as maybe one of these prospect quarterbacks coming out this year.
Yeah, and Coach Jackson said he loved Kellen Mond. He loved everything he had as far as playing the quarterback position as well.
You're saying Coach Hugh Jackson, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We
All
shall
right.
see.
Let's rank these teams. So I'll ask you guys who's going to win this division next year or this upcoming season.
I'm going with the Vikings to win it.
Wow.
I think Green Bay come in second, Detroit third, and Chicago fourth.
It's definitely a tough one, but I'm gonna go ahead and stay with the Packers. I think that A-Rod A-Rod is still A-Rod, and he's gonna make the passes that he needs to make to get that first down, or to make that, or to get that, make that first down and get the field goal. And then of course, Vikings close second, and of course, I think the Lions, and of course, right now still the Bears. The way it looks right now, just because Bears and Vikings still have new coaching staffs and whatnot, and so that's kind of what it is. So the Lions.
All right, so I think Chicago's going to end up being last.
Okay.
And then I'll go with the Lions. I'll go with the Packers, and I like the Minnesota Vikings to win the division this upcoming season.
And Vikings also.
Yeah, I like the Vikings.
All right, sounds good.
Of course, anything could happen, but I have a feeling that the Minnesota Vikings are going to shock a lot of people.
And Fidel has been on the Vikings for the past year or so. So
at some point, I got to be right?
So.
If you miss, you got to just keep on trying, man.
That's right. All right, that's going to go ahead and do it for this live edition of the East West Football Podcast. Thank you, everyone out there, for watching. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Thank you.